And I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world. Health officials in Gaza say the death toll from Israel's war has now topped 42,000, though many fear the actual death toll is far higher. We begin today's show looking at how Israeli troops have repeatedly filmed themselves committing and celebrating war crimes in Gaza. Al Jazeera's investigative unit has just released a documentary on Israeli war crimes based in part on social media posts from Israeli soldiers themselves. The documentary begins with the Palestinian novelist Susan Abu Khawa, as well as footage of the Al-Awda school massacre in July when Israeli troops killed at least 31 people at a school sheltering displaced Palestinians. The moment the bomb exploded was captured on video by someone recording a youth soccer game in the Al-Awda school courtyard.
The West cannot hide. They cannot claim ignorance. Nobody can say they didn't know. We live in an era of technology, and this has been described as the first live stream genocide in history, and I believe that to be true. They are conducting a genocide now with glee. They're setting their atrocities to music and putting them on catchy reels on TikTok. Ordinary Israelis see what their military is doing and celebrate it.
A crowd is singing "May Your Village Burn."
It's not just fringe elements who see this and think it's a good thing.
When a nation protects its home, it fights. And we will fight until we'll break their backbone. It's not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, it's absolutely not true. It's an entire nation out there that is responsible.
An excerpt from a new documentary on Israeli war crimes made by Al Jazeera's investigative unit. That last speaker was the Israeli President Isaac Herzog. This is another clip from the documentary. We hear from Human Rights Watch's Associate Director for the Middle East and North Africa, Bill Van Esveld. The clips begin with video posted online by the Israeli 202nd Paratroopers Battalion that shows a possible war crime of the shooting of unarmed Palestinians in Gaza. This is a graphic warning.
As troops leave Gaza, they place commemorative videos online.
When they meet the 202nd Battalion, they are going to regret being born.
This video documents the activities of the 202nd Paratroopers Battalion.
I'm just going to hold this here. I'm going to play this back again. This is extraordinary. The fact that he's put this onto video, he's released this on YouTube, to me is kind of quite extraordinary, the degree of impunity.
The video shows two other instances where unarmed men are shot by snipers.
Now, of course, I don't know the context of what happened before. I don't know what happened 2 minutes before that. They may have been involved in contacting and shooting at Israeli forces. They may have been legitimate targets, but it sure doesn't look like it to me.
An excerpt from a new documentary on Israeli war crimes made by Al Jazeera's investigative unit. We're joined now by two guests. Yumna Al-Sayed is a correspondent for Al Jazeera, who is based in the Gaza Strip. And Richard Sanders is the director of Al Jazeera's I-Unit's new feature-length documentary investigating war crimes in Gaza. Yuna, let's begin with you. As you narrate this film, if you can talk about the video footage that we see that is actually taken by Israeli soldiers themselves.
Yes, thank you for having me on your show again, Emmy. Of course, Israeli soldiers in Gaza taking these videos and posting them on different social media platforms, they've had all the courage to do that because they know that they are not even going to be condemned by posting these videos. They are showing off how much they dehumanize Palestinians, how much they kill, they destroy their properties, they completely torture them and dehumanize them in different ways, whether they're children, they're men, they're women. They brag about it and they're very proud of their doings. And all this comes back to the fact that the Israeli army acts with complete impunity. And they know that even these videos being posted online, they won't even be shown in other Western news outlets to point out how horrific these videos have actions committed by the Israeli army towards the civilians. On the contrary, Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and says, we are the most moral army in the world, when in reality, they are the most inhumane army in the world. As a journalist, as a civilian in any war zone, I'm supposed to have that guarantee that a soldier from any other place in the world, any other nationality in the world, as long as he carries that term, that definition, that he is a soldier, he must have morals, he must have ethics, that he would not hurt me as an unarmed civilian, as a journalist, as a paramedic. But in Gaza, for them, every single Palestinian, as long as you are a Palestinian, you are a legitimate target.
I just want to issue a slight correction. The person in the first clip that we showed from the documentary was not Bill Van Esveld of Human Rights Watch, but rather Charlie Herbert, retired British Major General. So, Richard Sanders, if we could turn to you, talk about the origins of this documentary, the fact that it begins with the Palestinian novelist Susan Abu Hawa saying we're in an era of technology, and this has been described as the first live-stream genocide in history. I mean, in a way, the film itself documents precisely how it is a live-stream genocide. If you could elaborate.
Well, thank you for having me, Amy. Yes, I mean, that's precisely why we begin the film with those comments from Susan Abu Hawa. The essential point of the whole film is no one can hide. The Israelis themselves were telling us precisely what they were doing and why they were doing it. The film is rooted in these soldiers' videos, of which there are thousands and thousands. And we didn't pick particularly damaging examples. They're all like that. I mean, one thing that's very striking is what you don't see